We're here to celebrate and remember the life of Frances Carol Morgan, Fran, to all who knew her, to honor and bless her as she continues her journey without us. We are here because in one way or another, we became a part of her life. Fran was born on October 27, 1953, here in Dallas. She died on August 14, 2025, also here in Dallas. Fran was preceded in death by her parents, Vernon and Carolyn Burkholz, and survived by her beloved husband, Dale, who should actually be sitting in the front row. Oh, he's like, oh. I'm like, what happened to Dale? She is also survived by her siblings, George Burkholz and his wife, Daylin, Kathy O'Hanlon, William Burkholz, and Jerry Burkholz, and her cherished niece and nephew, Nikki and Chris O'Hanlon. Our love and compassion are with all of them and with her beloved CSLDallas community today. So I invite you to join with me in prayer. Just inviting you to take a moment to sink into the sacred cave of the heart. That inner place where we meet the beloved. Recognizing it is from this one that all creation springs, all life springs, all love springs. And that it is here as we gather, for we know whenever two or more are gathered, there is love, there's the divine presence, there is God. And so as we've gathered in that precious state of love, grief, friendship, family, and loss, it is good and proper and right that we do it together. And so we bless this time with that love. Whatever love your love was with Fran, whatever relationships you had with this beautiful soul, just allow that love to be present in this moment, blessing this time, blessing her beloved family, blessing each other. Grateful that the divine presence is always with us. We let it be. And so it is. Amen. We come together in deep sorrow for Fran's death today. Yet we know that she is out of pain and in a better place. It is our own sorrow at being left behind and missing someone we have come to love and care for so deeply that causes the tears to flow. Those tears, let them flow. They are a testament of the love that we felt. From whatever background, faith, or tradition you may come today, let us join in remembering that each person has two aspects of their being. That which we call the human experience, and that greater identity, which we call the spirit or soul. As Dr. Ernest Holmes reminds us, it is merely this physical body, this physical instrument that passes away, this thing that disintegrates with death. It is not that which makes for the warmth, the color, and the responsiveness of the person themselves. That thing which forevermore eludes us, that which responds to us, and that to which we respond is as eternal as God, as everlasting as reality itself. So we know that the human physical experience may end in death, but the soul of each person is infinite and lives long beyond this particular life. Fran's passing is only from our direct experience. Her death is but a birth into a higher expression and a higher experience of life, closer than ever to the source of all. And because we know this, we take comfort in the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And we are strengthened by these beautiful and beloved words from Khalil Gibran's The Prophet. You would know the secret of death, but how shall you find it unless you seek it in the heart of life? The owl, whose night-bound eyes are blind unto the day, cannot unveil the mystery of light. If you would indeed behold the spirit of death, open your heart wide unto the body of life. For life and death are one, even as the river and the sea are one. In the depths of your hopes and desires lies your silent knowledge of the beyond. And like seeds dreaming beneath the snow, your heart dreams of spring. Trust the dreams, for in them is hidden the gates of eternity. For what is it to die but to stand naked in the wind and to melt in the sun? And what is it to create, to cease breathing, but to free the breath of its restless tides, that it may rise and expand and seek God unencumbered? Only when you drink from the river of silence shall you indeed sing. And when you have reached the mountaintop, then you shall begin to dance, to climb. And when the earth shall claim your limbs, then shall you truly dance. And so we know Fran is dancing on the other side, basking in the love and the light that she has known is always there. We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul, forever and ever expanding. We believe in the unity of all life, in the loving arms of the divine. It is in this spirit we honor Fran's passing, not with morbidity and fear, but with a sense of celebration of the full life which she lived and experienced, and the joyous release into a new and greater adventure which she has already begun. And so as Dale and Fran have loved this music, we'll take a moment before we hear the eulogy. We'll take a moment to celebrate Fran in music.
So hello all. So glad all of you were able to come. Great to see you. Family, friends have been with me for decades and new friends as well. So I'm Dale Morgan, if perhaps you don't know who I am. Preparing for this, I promised for this to be brief, because if I'm not, Fran's going to tell me, like she had many times before, to too much detail. If I tell stories, I get into all the detail, and it takes too long. Well, anyway, so I'll be like that. So I'm going to talk about 5 aspects of Fran's life. A little bit about her family, her education, her career, which those 3 take up for all of us most of our lives. But embedded over that, Fran's adventurous and spiritual natures. So I'm going to talk about that as well. So here's Fran's life from my perspective. We first met in 1969. I was 16, no, she was 16, I was 17. And I just moved to a neighborhood pretty close to hers, and had a new friend, and he wanted to take me over to meet this girl. And I said, okay. Went over and met her, and beautiful. Just a beautiful, well-timed girl. So we left, and as he was driving off, he said, I'm going to date her. And I thought, why did you take me to go meet this girl that you wanted to date? I still have that question. He did date her, but not very long. So Fran and I were friends for a couple of years, just friends. We interacted with many things, different things that we were doing, but it wasn't until 1971 I moved away, and then I moved back to go to college. And so I thought of Fran, and I thought, well, I'm just going to go and see her, whatever. I didn't know where it was going to go, but I went to see her, and we actually started a relationship. And from that point forward, for the rest of our lives, about 54 years, we were together. Her parents were really accepting of me. I became part of the family, with chaotic but joyful, joyful times at the dinner table. Everyone talked at the same time, over each other. And so it was a little different for me, but yeah, I got into it. It's an annual vacations with them to South Padre. So I went with Fran to her prom and to her graduation. And then we went to college together. When she started college, we even took classes together, some classes. And then in 1973, we got engaged. We took off together to university in Austin. Those first 2 semesters were pretty rough. We lived in 3 different places in just 2 semesters. We only had 1 car, and then no car. The last place we lived across the street from OBJ Library. We walked to school, we took the shuttle bus to the classes, we took a city bus to go get groceries, and of course, the occasional Mexican food out. So our lives were almost entirely spent going to school. We had almost no money. Both of our parents paid for college, paid for the university, but in those days, a semester was about $450. And that was at the university. And at first, the first semester that we went, both of our parents were paying us a little bit so that we could exist. But it was, they didn't have a lot of money, so it was going down and down and down. So then in 1974, we went back home and we got married. Then back to university. So when we got back, Fran decided to stop taking classes and go to work. And I was like, well, okay. So we talked about it. I agreed. We kind of made a deal that she would work till I graduated, and then she wouldn't work, and I would work and support us while she got her degree. And that's exactly what we did. When I graduated in '75, I already had a job in Dallas and moved back. Fran stopped, and she commuted to Denton and got her degree. So in 1979, 1980, Fran started her professional career in downtown Dallas. I was working in downtown Dallas also. So we commuted together every day. When buses started, we rode the bus together. But Fran made her career on her own. I didn't have any part of that. And she was very successful, rising to become a director of communications and PR for the U.S. headquarters of an international German insurance company. In the mid-90s, though, both of our careers kind of had some changes, and at that time there was an opportunity and we started a business together. We did that for 20 years. So all during her education and career years, she was an outdoor adventurer. She camped, hiked, even at the top of more than a 10,000-foot high mountain. Backpacked for 15 or more years in the rain, in the heat, through forests, mountains, and through streams. In several national parks in Hawaii and other states, but mostly in Colorado and New Mexico. And once down into the Grand Canyon and back out again. She river rafted, canoed. Okay, wait a minute. Sorry. She river rafted, canoed, snow skied, rode horses, even rock climbed and rappelled once. Fran was also very spiritual. She looked beyond the religious to look at kind of the edges of belief and wanted to know what and who and what's going on. So in 1972, I went with her and her mother, and we experienced a Chandler. And I was like, wow, okay. Kind of changed my whole thought stream. And during the 70s and the 80s, Fran went to a lot of psychics, but mostly for fun. We went to Paramahansa Yogananda's group, actually in Irving, for meditation for about 8 years. Fran was an avid meditator for over 25 years. We went on I went with her, went on a spiritual journey to the Himalayas with a young yogi from India. Spent summer of 1999 with that yogi and learned yoga. Fran built up a routine of yoga and meditation for over 20 years. Then in 2007, we found CSLDallas. Became a part of this loving community. Took classes, sometimes together. All the while expanding our understanding of what and who we are as spirit humans. Fran's journey was rough in 21 and 22, but she recovered. In 23, she had a grand year in travels, in fellowship with this community, and dear friends. Fran journaled for years. I found her journals of late 24. I want to read a passage she wrote from her last journal. Disappointments, things don't working as planned or as wanted. How do you best deal with that? First, acknowledge what is. Then look for opportunities for other things. I am grateful for other things, period. I am grateful that I have a beautiful life, even if there are obstacles. I have friends and a spouse that I love. I especially like that last day. So I'm going to read a poem by Emily Dickinson, sent to me from a dear friend, a mentor really, of both Fran and me. He's 96, lives in Taos, New Mexico, and just recently his 98-year-old wife also passed. If I go while you're still here, know that I live on. You will not see me, so you must have faith. I wait for the time when we both soar together again, both aware of each other. Until then, live your life to the fullest. And when you need me, just whisper my name in your heart. I will be there. Emily really had some insight here on life. Last Thursday, this last Thursday, I woke up from an insightful dream. I do that periodically. Fran did it all the time. And I was reminded that I know exactly what Emily is saying. You know, I practiced this talk a few times. And every time I got to Emily's point, I got very emotional. I kept saying, I need to do this without getting emotional. So I've realized that the emotion was about me. Losing my mate, sure. But Fran's life continues. She has dropped her earthly body and taken off her hiking boots, but she continues on her own next hiking trails. I have faith, and I know that we will soar again soon. Or we will soar together again. Just as I know we have entwined together in lives before this. Our lives have been entwined before, here, and beyond. In fact, several of you here is the same with Fran and or me. Now, we've had lives entwined together before, here, and we will beyond. So, can I do one last thing? Please stand as you're ready. Hold your hands up and repeat after me. Happy trails, Fran.
Happy trails, Fran.
And so it is.
Thanks, Dale.
It is not very many spouses that have the love and willingness to give the eulogy with such grace. Thank you, Dale. Really, you can clap for him if you want to. And I was so loved that you talked about all of our hiking, and we've been the beneficiary of that ourselves. And so I have to admit, I seriously thought about wearing my hiking boots today in honor of Fran. Fran has given so much with Dale to this community, has been involved in so many ways, has supported the staff, has supported me personally. One of my favorite memories in the many years, and she's been on the court council and the vision corps, and on and on and on and on it goes. But one of my favorite memories, truthfully, is when Fran and Dale were the chair of our Adventures in Spirit program. And our Generous Givers event had hiking trails all over the sanctuary that we walked on to celebrate. We were rising to new heights. And it was a beautiful, beautiful time in the life of CSLDallas. And so Fran will be missed. I do notice that there was one thing I know about Fran that you didn't say out loud, which I think is really interesting, and that is I do know that she was quite what should we say? Her journalism in college was quite a little on the radical end. And I always loved knowing that about Fran. Felt like it was a little secret part of her that would come out every once in a while that you could see. But what a complex and yet shining light, a beautiful soul. To watch Dale and Fran's relationship over the years has truly been a gift to me and to our community. Fran will be missed.
Can I say one last thing?
Most certainly.
70 years old.
70 years old. And that picture. Yeah, really. Yeah. So we come to the end of the celebration, this sort of formal celebration. You know, a lot of people avoid funerals, like them. They're usually not as much celebrations of life as maybe they could be. And yet, it's a necessary part of honoring, celebrating, and truly recognizing that a life in this form and in our lives has come to an end. And it is right and proper that we do this in community, that we hear some things about Fran, and that we have those moments, those chuckles of recognition, because it means she let us know her. And we took the time to get to know her. Now we take the time to say goodbye. So if you would like to join me on an extended journey, I just invite you to go within. Close your eyes if you choose. Engage your imagination. And imagine that you are preparing for Fran to go on her journey on that beautiful sailing ship that's down there at the end of the dock. And we've arrived on the busy wharf. And we see the ship, and we know that Fran is ready to get on that ship. And so we begin to walk down that beautiful long dock. And somewhere along the line, somewhere along the way, there stands Fran. With that beautiful smile, that calm demeanor, and that loving presence. And as we walk up to her, maybe you take her hand, or you link arms, or you just walk with laughter and with a smile and with love, all the way down the wharf, down the dock, to the gangplank. Because this is the ship that is ready to take sail, and to take Fran with it. There's a beautiful sunny day, white sails snapping in the breeze, colorful pennants flying from the masts. A beautiful, long, sturdy ship. And you stand with Fran at the bottom of the gangplank, and there she stands before you. For this last moment, right here in this space, this place, this time. Look into her eyes. Allow your heart to be open. And take this moment to say to Fran whatever is in your heart right now. And as you complete what it is, you think now Fran will turn. But first, before she does, you realize that she has something to say to you. Open your heart, open your mind, and allow Fran to speak to you and to say whatever it is that she has to say. And the next thing you know, you find yourself enveloped in that quick Fran hug, that warm embrace. You hold her as tight as you can. And you know it's time to let her go. And so as you release your arms, Fran smiles, that brilliant smile. And with a calm and steady tread, she mounts that gangplank just like she's mounted every trail to climb every mountain she's ever been on. And so she makes her way up that gangplank. And behind her, as she steps onto the ship, the gangplank is drawn up. And she turns and leans on the railing, waving goodbye. And those of us standing here on the dock, we wave madly goodbye to her. And we realize that she has already begun moving away. For as the gangplank was being raised, so were the ropes. The wind has already caught the sails, and the ship is already moving off. We wave as long as we can make out her figure as she sails off into the distance, and you know she's waving back until she can no longer tell who's who, and we can no longer make her out. But that ship sails on in the breeze and the sun, bright and shining, as it sails off towards the horizon. And we stand and we watch. And we see as the wind takes that ship all the way to the horizon. And it hangs there for just a moment, glinting bravely in the sun. And then it slips from our sight on the other side. And as we stand here, having let her go, said goodbye and heard those beautiful words she's had to say to us. And as we've watched her sail away and slip from our sight, we know that on the other side of the horizon, she has been sailing toward a distant shore. And there are as many people on the other side waving manly hello as we were waving goodbye. And she stands by the railing, anxiously waiting, impatient for that gangplank to be laid down, that she can tread off that gangplank the way she has completed some of these amazing trails that she's hiked, on to the next great adventure, met with loving arms, with open hearts, surrounded by loved ones, embraced by the light, safe at the beginning of her next journey. As Ernest Holmes writes, she is not dead. Beyond earth's storms and mists and rain, beyond all sorrow, fear, and pain, new life, new joy shall spring again. She is not dead. She has but found new songs to sing, new life and laughter there to bring, to love's eternal spring. Happy trails, Fran. Off to a great adventure. You have blessed us. We hope we've been a blessing to you. Hike on into the great next to be. So it is. Amen. So you are invited to share with the family and friends. There's a beautiful reception that has been organized by Dale's Sangha and communications group here at CSLDallas. Lots of people have brought food. You'll find it over here in Barong Lounge. We're going to hear a song while we're saying hello to everybody and getting ready to and leaving to the Barong Lounge here in a moment. There is a guest book in the back if you have not had a chance to sign when you came in. There'll be plenty of time. I know some of you didn't get programs, so we'll be making copies of programs. We'll put it on the table in the Barong Lounge on the in the middle, where there's also a bowl for some of you who have brought cards. You can put the cards in that bowl right on that table in the middle over here in between the 4 chairs. Yeah, I think those are all the announcements. We'll let the family leave first, and then you'll be welcome to come join us in the Barong Lounge.